And welcome back to The Factor. Uncensored. Former athlete and media personality now, Shannon Sharpe, is attempting to clear his name after facing a lawsuit for allegedly raping a woman on multiple occasions. His response revealing the name of the accuser and some very X-rated text messages he says he received from her. All right, let's take a look at this. According to the lawsuit, the anonymous woman says it began as a consensual relationship when she was 20 years old. She also accuses Sharpe of a violent sexual assault and rape in October of last year and again in January of this year. The complaint seeks more than $50 million in damages. Sharpe fired back, posting alleged texts from the woman in the lawsuit on social media. One of them reads, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me with it while you're effing me." Another, "I know you miss this big juicy ass, $25,000 for each cheek." And here's another alleged text, "You better crave it, cuz you're gonna be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me." The rest are way too spicy. I don't know what's left. Joining us to talk about it, defense attorney and former Harris County prosecutor by O.G. Akingbala and Factor Digital producer Ajibola Budaran to talk about this case. So your thoughts about this, just looking at it from the outside, your thoughts?
It's a big mess for Shannon Sharpe. Tony Busby is on this case, right? And
he's a Houston-based attorney.
Houston-based attorney.
Been here on The Factor several times.
Yes, and we've seen him file several lawsuits against the likes of P. Diddy, against Jay-Z, which was recently dismissed. And now here we go again against Shannon Sharpe. What sticks out to me, however, is the context of the allegations are different from what you would see on some of these other cases like Diddy, right? Or Cosby, who was putting in date rape drugs in several victims' drinks. In this case, she's saying this is a consensual relationship. We had a lot of consensual sex, and on these 2 or 3 separate occasions, it just so happens that it wasn't consensual. Now, I'm not saying that that's not a thing and that these situations don't happen within the context of consensual relationships, but I do think it's going to be a lot difficult to prove it, because it begs the question, if it happened one time in October of 2024, how did it then happen again in January of 2024? If it happened at your apartment, as she's alleging, who did you tell? Did you speak to the apartment landowners? Did you call 911? Did you go to the hospital? So there's a concern about provability. And then to add another layer of what might impugn her credibility are the supposed text messages that Shannon Sharpe has. These text messages suggest that she was more of the one initiating these encounters.
The aggressor, well, not aggressor as in crime, but right, in the relationship.
Yes, initiating the sexual encounter, and that in some cases was even soliciting, saying sex in exchange for cash, $25,000 per cheek. If that is proven to be coming from her, it's really going to undermine the credibility of her allegations. So that being said, even if this is not a case that Tony Busby can prove by the preponderance of the evidence, I am concerned about the hit that it has on Shannon Sharpe as a public figure. Because let's say this goes to trial, then there's going to be a lot of public scrutiny of Shannon Sharpe's sex life at age 56 with that of a 19, 20-year-old. It's just not a good look for someone who's employed by Disney.
All right. Aji, what are they saying on social media? What's the response from people out there?
Well, I would say the kind of big elephant in the room is the fact that Tony Busby is on the case. So I think a lot of people still have the memory of the case he put out against Jay-Z and how that fell through. So I think a lot of people are waiting to kind of see if more information comes in, and some people just are writing off the whole case, saying that this is something we just saw a few months ago and nothing came of it. So I think a lot of people with the text messages and with the controversy around Busby, they are kind of taking Shannon's word for it and not really believing that he did this. But again, more information could come out and that might change.
And when we take a look at Busby's career, and full disclosure, he's a friend of mine, but he's had a stellar career here in Texas. Texas. But there have been, issues with Jay-Z and the P. Diddy case. Not so much as P. Diddy, but the Jay-Z case. And now people are questioning this. But his reputation has been stellar here in the state of Texas and defending elected officials.
Right.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think the last few cases with them not being in the state of Texas and also being very, very high profile, like celebrities that people, a lot of people love or look up to, I think whenever you can poke holes into something, people are willing to poke those holes in them themselves. So with his record over the last few months, at least outside of the state, I think people are willing to be like, oh, we going to write
And
this
Shannon
out.
Sharpe has become a beloved figure of sorts as a result of his podcast and the audience that he's captured.
Yeah, he's sports unk. That's what they call him. He's the unk. So everybody looks up to him as like kind of like that adult male figure, older guy who, gives advice and talks about relationships, sports, and all types of stuff. So I don't think people really want to see him associated with this, but he has been open with his sexual life over the last few months. So I don't think people are that surprised, especially with those text messages.
Who was Jack Sparrow, the actor who played Jack Sparrow?
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. This case reminds me so much of the Johnny Depp case. I mean, assuming these allegations are not true, right? It still took a major hit on Johnny Depp's career. Even when he went to trial and he was vindicated, he lost that role. And so my concern for Shannon Sharpe is even if these allegations are not proven to be true, he may take a significant hit on that beloved stature that he has with the American public.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on The Factor.